Hi. Okay, so we're gonna start with I'm gonna show you the list here. It's actually gonna look a little backwards, but anyway, I have it listed by numbers, and that's what the way I'm going to illustrate it is by the numbers that are listed on my measurement chart list. Okay, so number one we start with is going to be the front of the bust, which is just trying to figure out how large you are in the front section, which is your bust area, you know, with your cups and stuff. So you start from side, right up under the armpit, at the side seam, where, say, if you had on something that had a seam on the side, then you would start it there. So start from this side and go across over the fullest part of the bust and back over to the opposite side. And that would be the front bust. That's number one. Okay, number two would be the full bust, which would be, you know, carrying the tape measure all the way around the back, keeping it pretty much parallel, the same height. Okay, bring that all the way around and just measure it. You want to put maybe one little fingertip in the middle just to give a little bit of space, and then that would be your measurement for the front. For the full bust. Okay, number three would be the upper bust, which is above the bust. So say if you were having a strapless top, you would want to know what this measurement around the upper bust would be. So we're going to go the same area in the back, but we're going to bring it above the bust and then measure right up above the bust here, and that is your upper bust measurement. Okay, then I'm going to need the under bust, which will be the rib cage area. So we can go under that and just kind of run it the same height from the back to the front, and then right under that bottom of that bust line would be your under bust. That's number four. Okay, number five, we need to know what your torso is. So I want to do from upper bust. I'm going to measure all the way up vertical here, and then down to the waist. And you can do what I did here, and that's like tie a string around your waist, or, you know, if you had a belt or something that you can go by. So you start right at the top of the bust, right at the upper bust, where you measured the first time for the upper bust. Start here, and then bring it over the bust, and then back down into the natural waist. And that would be what your measurement would be for the upper bust to waist, number five. Okay, number six is shoulder to nipple. Okay, so you're going to start at the top of the shoulder where the seam would naturally be, and then you're going to measure all the way to the breast nipple. Okay, and that would be your shoulder to nipple, which is number six. Okay, number seven, I would need your shoulder to waist. So you would just carry that same measurement all the way down to the waist. So you start at the top of the shoulder, go over the bust, bring it all the way down and to the waist, and that gives me your full torso shoulder to waist measurement. That's number seven. And that's the front. Okay, we have to do the back as well, because the back actually is different from the front, because our bust takes up a lot more in the front than it does in the back, because we have nothing back here. So I need you to measure that same measurement, top of the shoulder to the waist in the back. Okay, and that's number eight. Number nine is shoulder seam to shoulder seam. And to get that shoulder seam to shoulder seam, what you would think of, I have the wrong type of top on right here, but if I had, say, a t-shirt on, then I would have a sleeve set in here. So what you want to do is measure where that seam would be from here to here. You're not going to go under here anywhere. You're just going to go right in the arm, right at the side, front of the armpit, shall I say. So measure from here where your sleeve would sit in, from here to here. So I would be doing it like across the front of the shoulder, just a little bit above. Actually, just go all the way up to almost the top of the shoulder and measure from the shoulder seam to the shoulder seam. And that would be your shoulder to shoulder measurement. Now that would be your front measurement, but again, we need to do the back, because the back sometimes is a little more, sometimes it's a little less. So we need to measure the front and the back of the shoulder to shoulder. Okay. I didn't mark that on my sheet, but it's number 9 you'll see shoulder seam to shoulder seam, and then just a couple of spaces over will say the back. So you want to measure the back as well. So do from the shoulder to the shoulder where that sleeve would be set in, and just right at the top edge of it is where you would measure across. And that would be your shoulder seam to shoulder seam for the front and for the back. Okay, number 9, and just remember to move over across, and it'll say back for I didn't. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 10, which is shoulder to wrist. I don't have any arms on this mannequin here, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Shoulder. So again, we would come where the sleeve is set in. Anytime I say shoulder to, then that would be right up in here and right up in here. Okay, so shoulder to wrist is to get our length for our sleeves. So you want to go from the top of the shoulder with a relaxed arm all the way down to where the finish, you would want the finish to be. Okay, so it would be shoulder to wrist. And I normally go not exactly to the wrist, but maybe like about an inch past the wrist. Okay, so you want to measure that. That gives me number 10, which is my shoulder to wrist, so that I know how long to make the sleeves. Number 11, we need to know what the wrist measurement is, and I normally don't do a tight wrist measurement. I normally come down, drop down about where the sleeve would hit, which is about 1 inch below the wrist, and then measure around there with a relaxed fit. So I would make it, you know, just keep it kind of, see how I have it? It's just kind of a relaxed fit. You put a little finger in between, and then you can see, you know, that it has a little bit of space in it. So, because you want to be able to get it over your wrist. All right, so you measure that. That's your wrist measurement. Now we want to do number 12, which is the biceps. And the biceps is how the circumference around the arm. So we'll know how to measure to make sure that it's not too tight around your upper arm. Okay, so you just take the measurement and you go around the fullest part, which is maybe about 3 inches below the shoulder, somewhere around there. And again, you want to put a little bit of a finger in to give it a little bit of relax. And what you want to do also is bend your arm so that you get a muscle, so when you flex, you know, you still have that room to flex. Okay, so that is your biceps. And then we have number 13, which is the waist. So what I say you want to do is put something at the waist so that you can signify where the actual waist is. So you want to maybe tie a ribbon around and just kind of move around and let it get comfortable so that it'll sit in the proper place. And then you measure around the smallest area, which is here at the waist. And again, put a little bit of a finger there. Okay. Then we have number 14, which is waist to floor, which will be my length. So what I need, we've already done shoulder to waist, so we know the torso. We know the upper bodice. So now we need to know the lower bodice. So you're going to measure from that natural waist all the way down to the floor. And you want to have a shoe on. Okay, so we're on number, I think we're on number 14. Okay, so again, that was the that was the waist to the floor to get the bottom measurement length. Okay, and again, what I was saying was that you want to probably have a shoe on, something very similar, if not the exact measurement that you'll be wearing, but at least a shoe, you know, heel that you typically would wear. And so you put that on, and then you want to measure from the waist to the floor. Okay. And then we have finally number 15 with it, which is your hip measurement. Okay, so we need to measure all the way around the fullest part of our buttocks, all the way around to the front. So normally it's about 7 inches below the waist is where your hip line is. So you want to take the tape measurement and go all the way around the fullest part of your bust, and then measure to there. And again, put a fingertip in the middle, so you know have just a little bit of slack and ease. And that should finalize all the measurements that I need. Just call me if you have any questions. You need to text me. If you're having them done when it's closing hours here, then that's fine. You can go ahead and text me if you have any questions, and then I can get back with you. This dress, man, I tell you, it's going to be nice. So look forward to seeing you, and congratulations again, and give me a call or text me or email me if you have any more questions. Alrighty, bye.